Tonight, a family wants answers after a man was left critically injured after being repeatedly tasered by Prince Albert police.
I just hope this will never happen to any mother what I have to go through. It should never happen.
Also, thousands of Muslims gather in Saskatoon to celebrate the end of Ramadan. Plus, Saskatoon's roller derby league is in jeopardy and asking for community support after losing its main funding source.
It's going to be a very tight year to figure out what we're going to do without that income.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, April 21st, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. The family of a Saskatchewan man clinging to life in hospital say police put him there. They say officers beat him and used other excessive force. And now they might have to cut him off life support. Sam Sampson reports, and a warning, this story includes disturbing details.
A family lost in grief and questions.
I just hope this will never happen to any mother what I have to go through.
The main thing I want to know is why they hit him.
We have many questions, but most importantly, are our people safe at the hands of the police in Prince Albert?
40-year-old Bowden Umferville was in a suspected stolen vehicle on April 1st. After police pulled it over, more officers arrived. Prince Albert police tried to arrest Umferville. Then this happened.
Get out now! It's your last warning.
This video submitted to CBC News shows at least 6 officers on scene. The oversight agency says this incident involved tasers, batons, and pepper spray. It also says a loaded handgun was found on scene, which did not belong to police. Police arrested Umferville, who went into medical distress. He's been in hospital since. He's now brain dead, and his family may take him off life support.
His family are left with no answers to their questions and significant concerns over the transparency over any accountability for the police.
When they keep a tight lip over this kind of incident and say the issue has been referred to the Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team, and therefore that's the full explanation we're going to give you, you're setting up what I would consider a protectionist ring. The legitimacy of the police service itself becomes questioned. People begin to wonder if they are really there for them and if they might be treated that way.
The Prince Albert Police Service has been under scrutiny before. Earlier this year, an officer-involved shooting left one man dead. Last year, the province appointed a former Edmonton police chief to review the service's resources. That inquiry is done, and the province has the final report. Prince Albert Police were also included in a province-wide review of police services in 2021 after 3 men died in their custody. The independent oversight agency is tight-lipped as it continues to look into Umferville's case. It will publish a public final report once finished. The Prince Albert Police Service says all involved officers are still on duty. Umferville's family wants them off the job for good. Sam Sampson, CBC News, Regina.
The man who shone a light on police misconduct more than 20 years ago has died. In January of 2000, Daryl Knight was driven out of town by 2 Saskatoon police officers and abandoned. He survived after a power plant worker heard him knocking on the door. The bodies of 2 other Indigenous men, Rodney Nastis and Lawrence Wagner, were found at the same time in the same area. Knight agreed to tell his story publicly, igniting a wave of protests, firing, and criminal charges against a practice known as Starlight Tours. His former lawyer says it took immense courage for Knight to come forward.
Yeah, I think there's no question that Daryl Knight made a difference in the city of Saskatoon. His name is synonymous with pushback against police misconduct in this city.
2 officers were convicted in Knight's case. Investigations into the deaths of Nastis and Wagner were inconclusive. Knight died earlier this month. His cause of death is not known. The Dene High School in Loche did not hold classes today, but instead is offering counseling. That's because 2 people were injured at the school after an incident. The The school division isn't saying much about what actually happened, except that one person is in custody. And there's no word from the RCMP on the situation, citing the ongoing strike by public sector workers. The community of Loche and its high school faced a shooting in 2016. A 17-year-old killed his two cousins at home, then went to the school and fatally shot two others. 7 more people were injured in that shooting. The government is putting nearly $500,000 into police and crisis teams in Regina and Saskatoon. The so-called PACT program pairs a mental health professional with a police officer when a person is experiencing a crisis. When a situation arises, a 911 operator will determine if a PACT member should attend.
Sometimes there's some de-escalation that needs to be involved, but the mental health care worker is essentially the lead in that investigation. We're there to make sure that everybody's safe and that we offer our professional expertise and access to information. But it's the mental health care worker we rely on. And in modern policing, that's the direction we're going.
The goal is to treat people having mental health emergencies from a healthcare approach instead of through the justice system. It reduces potential for an arrest and diverts people from hospital and emergency rooms. The provincial budget is investing nearly $3 million into the PACT initiative province-wide. Canada's only rare earths mining company is suspending construction at its half-built Saskatoon processing plant. The move comes 3 months after a visit to the facility by the Prime Minister. In January, Justin Trudeau toured Vital Metals to promote critical minerals. The company says this week it's pausing construction to save money due to a depressed market. Vital Metals says its Saskatoon employees will keep their jobs while a strategic review is done. But the news doesn't mean the future of critical minerals in this province is in jeopardy. The Saskatchewan Crown Corporation is building a rare earth element hub in Saskatoon.
So I can't speak to anything specific to Vital, but in terms of the rare earth element space, very optimistic and confident around the hub that's being built, the significant interest that we're garnering from all around the world, the interest in the products that will come out of the facility.
The Saskatchewan Research Council says the Saskatoon processing plant will be complete in 2024. It also says the project is on time and on budget and valued at $87 million. The Prime Minister and Ontario's Premier were in St. Thomas, Ontario today, announcing a long-anticipated EV battery facility to be built there. When the Prime Minister made the announcement, a group of federal workers were picketing nearby.
The workers, united, will never be defeated.
As you can see from the messages on the signs, they're not happy about Ottawa giving Volkswagen millions in subsidies to set up an electric battery plant in the community when they're on strike fighting for higher pay. More than 150,000 federal workers went on strike Wednesday. Wages and remote work are key issues for the union. About 50,000 workers have been deemed essential and are still on the job. Some federal services are affected: immigration processing, food inspections, and tax returns. Saskatchewan's film industry is getting an injection of $900,000 for training and mentoring aspiring media production workers. The Saskatchewan Media Production Industry Association is facilitating the program that runs from April 1st of this year to April 1st of next year. The money comes from the federal government. The program will provide successful applicants with training workshops and on-set mentored positions with active media productions. Production company owners are thrilled.
Knowing that there's going to be training money available to help grow production companies and then bring extra people on who may already be somewhat skilled and just need to develop their skills further, or for those that don't have experience who want to work in this industry, will help grow my businesses substantially, and then I won't exhaust myself doing all the work myself.
First of all, I want to say that our government is 150% committed to a thriving, strong cultural industry all over Canada. If there's good projects that come up that can promote and strengthen the cultural industries, while at the same time creating good jobs for young people, Francophones, Indigenous, that is something we are looking to support.
Symbia says the new training program will have 30% Indigenous participation. The association is partnering with the Saskatchewan Indian Institute of Technologies to get Indigenous students into the media industry. The Islamic Association of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon is marking the end of Ramadan, bringing together thousands of people to celebrate Eid this morning at Prairieland Park. It is the first of two festivals celebrated by Muslims each year. Eid al-Fitr is the festival of breaking the fast. Muslims fast together over Ramadan during daylight hours, a time to practice self-restraint and self-reflection. The Islamic Association of Saskatchewan says almost 10,000 people took part last year. And while today's event was very public, community members will celebrate over the next couple of days with food and loved ones and will also exchange gifts. Oh, maybe you cracked out the snowblower after that intense snowfall over the last couple of days, or maybe you just hoped that Mother Nature would take care of that job for you. It is very slushy outside today after that storm moved on. Will we get a second crack at spring anytime soon? Ethan will have your forecast after the break. Stay with us.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. Friend and Family F-150 event is on now.
Welcome back. Our weather specialist, Ethan Williams, joins me now. I was beginning to wonder if that storm was going to end. Every time I looked out the window last night, it was still snowing sideways.
It was, but it ended pretty quickly. You know, we even got some sunshine today in parts of the province. But if you think this storm was bad, well, I'm going to make you feel a little bit better. We've had some real doozies in springs past, including, you'll remember, of course, last year, those back-to-back storm systems, including what Environment Canada dubbed could have been the worst storm in decades, and packed a pretty good punch. But the year before that, April 11th to 13th, 2021, Regina and southeastern Saskatchewan had a few days of snow. We ended up getting 15 to 30 centimeters. You may remember even later into April and even into May, April 30th, May 1st, 2011, southeastern Saskatchewan getting a blizzard with 10 to 30 centimeters of snow. And that contributed to some pretty significant and unfortunately catastrophic flooding in southeastern Saskatchewan that spring. But nothing will top 41 years ago on May 28th and 29th. Southwestern Saskatchewan, the Cypress Hills, Maple Creek, 27 centimeters of snow. And in the warm side of that system in Regina, we ended up getting about 44 millimeters of rain. And that was, at that time, the most rain we'd had in a 24-hour period since the 1940s. So there you go. Could be worse. Having said that, we did see quite a bit of snow from this system over the past few days. The number on the left here is what we saw just in these past 24 hours. The number on the right is the entire storm totals. So a good 25 centimeters in portions of southeastern Saskatchewan, even north of Regina. Regina, again, 15 to 20 range, could be a little bit higher than that. And in southeastern Saskatchewan, we didn't even see quite as much in some places as I think we thought we were going to see. But it's really northern Saskatchewan where we're seeing the warmth, close to 10 degrees there today, struggling to get above the freezing mark in south and central Saskatchewan. A lot of stations mysteriously not reporting, probably because they're a little shy because the temperatures are just so cold right now. But things will be warming up in the next few days. We're still looking at mostly cloudy skies tonight in portions of south and central Saskatchewan, clearing in the north, but really tomorrow afternoon and as we head into Sunday, looks like we're going to be seeing some pretty sunny skies as those temperatures gradually start to increase. And in terms of our wind gusts, we will be much lighter, especially tomorrow. Look for gusts only around 15 to 20. Southwestern and west central Saskatchewan, you barely will see any. A little bit of a system moving in on Sunday is through Alberta is going to be bringing some stronger gusts to western portions of the province. Gusts could be between about 40 and 45, but for Regina and southeastern Saskatchewan, finally, we are going to be seeing some nice wind conditions. But it's going to be chilly when you wake up tomorrow, and with a little bit of wind, this will feel more like the mid-minus teens in some spots. But we will gradually start to see a bit of a warm-up, and we'll hit some blips here and there. We have a little bit of messiness coming next week again, but at this point, doesn't look like it's going to be quite as bad as we saw this week. Saskatoon, your forecast showing a marked improvement here over these next few days, even some double digits, but you won't escape the precipitation as well, Sam.
I didn't know that shyness was a reason to not report, and your forecast looks like a good crib hand.
Yes, it's well documented now.
Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
A sure sign of spring is blooming in one Canadian city. Take a look at the cherry blossoms in Toronto's High Park, in bloom a little earlier than usual this year after unseasonably warm weather last week. The annual spectacle is created when the buds of the Japanese sakura trees burst into white and pink flowers for about a week. We'll be back after the break. Saskatoon's Roller Derby League is looking for help from the community. For the last decade, the athletes have raised money by taking care of the recycling and garbage at a popular festival in Saskatoon. But this year, the Taste of Saskatchewan festival is cancelled due to cost concerns. Kendall Latimer has more on the possible impact.
Out on the oval track, this sport can get scrappy and fast as the skaters marked with stars try to get by the others for points. It's competitive, but it's also fun and welcoming.
Roller derby is one of the most diverse sports out there. We have a very diverse membership of people from all walks of life, and it's a family. We come here, we have brutal days at work, brutal weather days too, and then we come strap on our skates and hit each other, and you feel so much better when you go home.
The skaters say the league goes beyond sport, as the players feel like family.
When I came and joined the Saskatoon Roller Derby League, I had family here, so the league itself became my support system.
But the league is facing uncertainty. The Derby players say handling the garbage and recycling at Taste of Saskatchewan brought in 1/4 of their annual income.
That fundraiser covers rental space costs, it covers material costs like track tape, chairs, table rentals, and so it's going to be a very tight year to figure out what we're going to do without that income.
The skaters worry they'll have to cut down on games and practices or raise league fees, a big hit to people who want to play.
It helps our skaters to keep our dues low so anyone from any walk of life can join, and it would affect the fact that we might have to raise dues, which makes it harder for them.
They also risk losing their competitive edge. The Derby players are trying to score some new partnerships with other Saskatoon events and organizations so they don't have to slow their roll. Kendall Latimer, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Canada's own Ryan Reynolds, born and raised in Vancouver, is beloved by fans worldwide for his work on the big screen. But he's proving he's not just a movie star, he's building a business empire. Peter Armstrong explains.
It's about the future.
It's a good time to be in the business of Ryan Reynolds.
Canadians are terrible at self-promotion.
Well, some are, but this guy is not.
I'm introducing Aviation American Gin.
He sold his gin company for $825 million. He sold this mobile phone company for $1.7 billion.
Are you on social media?
And this week, Reynolds invested in this Canadian fintech company.
It's time for a global tech company from Canada.
We're more of a payments company, right?
Cue the music.
Reynolds is best known as a Hollywood actor in films like Deadpool. But this weekend, Reynolds aims to become a football legend in a small Welsh town called Wrexham. Reynolds and fellow actor Rob McElhenney bought this floundering club for $3 million. The club's been relegated to the lowly National League, the fifth tier of the English Football League system. But with a win tomorrow, the club will finally be promoted out of the basement and take one step closer to the upper echelons of the Premier League.
The world of the Premier League to the fourth, fifth tier, or even where they are in the non-league, is a world, is a massive gulf.
This former player turned podcast host says getting promoted means more profile, more sponsorships. But the higher Wrexham climbs, the more the owners will be asked to spend.
You need to be almost an oil state, where you do, really, to be able to compete.
Reynolds doesn't have pockets quite that deep. What he does have is a seemingly endless supply of charm and genuine connection to the brands he gets involved in.
The links between sport and entertainment and the lines between them are very much blurred.
And Reynolds intends on blurring them further. His name has been attached to nearly every conversation about who will buy the Ottawa Senators.
It's very expensive. So, I need to partner with, really deep pockets.
But that need cuts both ways. The deep pockets need a charming frontman to get the deal done, and along the way, the charming frontman's pockets are getting deeper too. Peter Armstrong, CBC News, Toronto.
And Ethan is back with one last look at your weather.
And a little bit chilly tomorrow in Regina and southern Saskatchewan. We'll be waking up to around -4. Wind chill making that to feel closer to around -8. Mostly cloudy skies, but we should get a little more sunshine as we head toward the noon hour. Winds staying fairly light. We'll hit the freezing mark, but we won't get much above that, unfortunately. Saskatoon still cloudy tomorrow morning as well. Your winds are fairly light, so that -3 going to feel kind of like -3. And then by the afternoon, how about 3 above, where we see a little bit of a break in the clouds and some nice light winds. Now, this weekend is the Lyrid meteor shower, and there's going to be lots of sunshine to see it. It's debris left over by the comet Thatcher, and it ends a meteor drought. We haven't seen a meteor shower since January. Best seen over these next few nights, Sam. So something to look forward to in addition to the warm weather.
Especially if that sky is clear.
Yes, you
Thanks,
bet.
Ethan.
You bet.
Before we leave you this week, hockey fans are the most diehard this time of year, hoping to see their team take it all the way. The Edmonton-LA series is tied at 1 apiece, and Edmonton fans are hoping for another big win. Some are actually headed to La La Land to cheer in person. Travis McEwen caught up with some in person.
Are you already packed?
Yeah. No.
Carrie and Des Batchelor are pretty much ready to go. The office may be a dead giveaway. The couple have been Oilers fans since the 1980s. They've traveled to watch the team plenty of times on the road. And today, they're on their way to LA, their first time for a playoff game. They figure it's an experience worth the cost.
Because it doesn't happen very often. Last year, we had a chance, but we weren't as in depth. Like, we didn't have Ekholm, Bukestad, we added it later. Like, the boys are good. They're good. We can do it this year. I don't want to miss it.
I was just going to say, you don't want to miss it.
No. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Game 1 was a bit of a stunner as the Kings came from behind to tie the game and win in overtime. As for Game 2 on Wednesday, the Oilers dominated most of that game. But the Kings still came back, adding to fan stress, before Clem Costin scored the winning goal in the third period. But eyes are on Connor McDavid. The Oilers All-Star has just 1 assist through 2 games so far.
I couldn't care less about points. It's more about winning games. And like I said, the series is at 1-1. That's the most important thing. It's a tight checking series. We knew it was going to be that way.
I think that our team's controlled the bulk of the play. We like where our team game is at, but the series is at 1-1. We have a huge challenge before us versus a tough team in their building. We better be ready to start immediately, right off the bat, to make sure that we're asserting our game on them and not the other way around.
I have a lot of faith in this team.
John Chahal has been a fan since the Gretzky days. She's in LA right now. It's the first time she's traveled in 4 years, breaking the streak to cheer on the Oilers.
I wanted to be there to experience everything and feel that atmosphere, and watching them in another arena dominate is just incredible.
For the fans here in Edmonton who want to see the game, many will be heading to Rogers Place to watch on the big screen for $5, with hopes of the Oilers taking a 2-1 series lead tonight. Travis McEwen, CBC News, Edmonton.
And that is it for us this week. For news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/sask or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are back Monday at 5. Ethan will be back tonight at 11:30. Up next, an NHL playoff Game 3 doubleheader. First, Florida and Boston, and then LA and Edmonton. Have a great weekend.